Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be taking another look at ANKR and specifically the price action to see what has been going on most recently and what might be in store going further forward. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with all the ANKR price updates that we do here. Right, with that said, done and out of the way, let's get into this weekly chart and talk about what's going on here with ANKR. We are paired up with USDT and we are using Binance as the data source. Everything really kick-started back in March of 2020, where we can see these 5 impulse waves really kind of kicking off and pushing to the upside. There were 2 correction waves within this journey. Wave 2 saw the first correction coming in after the highs of August, pulling us down into those low points in September. We then started to see wave 3 peaking out, and I think this is where it started to get a lot of traction, a lot of kind of news, and got a hype kind of building up around it. And basically we peaked out up here in March of 2021. We actually traded sideways a little bit here whilst the rest of the market was correcting quite steeply. And in fact, the correction for wave 4 was actually quite a shallow one for ANKR. This, I feel, is pretty much down to the fact that you could stake 24,000 ANKR for deploying an ETH 2.0 node. Okay, so I think that actually helped protect things a little bit, that campaign. But nonetheless, we did find this buy zone if we wanted to accumulate a little bit more on the way of ANKR. We have seen a good kind of recovery so far, and we are fighting up some interesting resistances. We'll get into that in a moment as we get into the smaller time frames. But the 5th wave definitely seems to be on the horizon. We are pushing towards that now, and we are seeing this thing going up towards 77 cent, another 524% from the current position. So again, some pretty lucrative gains are still on the table here as we go above our previous high in wave 3. Now we are overbought on our stochastic RSI, and again, this is something that we've seen during our 3rd wave, where we actually went up into overbought in February, and we didn't leave this area until April, so we were up there for a couple of months. So again, nothing to worry about just entering this area just now. We can be sustained up here for quite some time. And likewise with wave 1, we can also see that we're up here from May 20 all the way through to August of 2020. Okay, so quite a big stint of time was up there. And likewise with wave 2, you are oversold. And again, down in wave 4, oversold. And again, I think a lot of people were familiar with coming down here in May through to basically the end of July. So a couple of months in these oversold status as well. Okay, not a lot of time has actually been spent kind of moving in between those 2 areas, and this is kind of common for the bull run here. So again, we'll just be monitoring that situation a little bit. So again, this weekly chart is looking pretty tidy, nothing to really kind of worry about too much. There was up a bit against resistance right now, and we can see that on the smaller time frames. Overall, from March to March, we have seen 34,000% in gains for ANKR. It definitely has been moving quite nicely. Specifically if you're an early adopter, but if you were getting in during the 2nd wave correction or at some point during these sideways trades before we actually started to see a good push to the upside, it was around this area somewhere that we actually exited Reef and went into ANKR because we could kind of see what was coming. And ANKR just wasn't, well, ANKR was just on an absolute tear, so it made a lot of sense to do so. And again, looking at this correction, there was an accumulation to take advantage of as well. So as we jump down into our daily view here, we'll just bring this down into view. We can see that we're up against resistance at 12.3 cent. This is an interesting area. This is actually almost halfway between our 50% retracement zone and our 382 area of the Fibonacci retracement tool. So basically 13.2 and 11.2 cent. We actually wicked on both scenarios here. Take a look at the dojo candle today. We can see that we're in both directions, and the market's very indecisive on where this thing is going. Again, we are finding upper resistance here on the 50% retracement zone. This coming in at 13.2 cent. Again, the resistance is the major one that we're kind of fighting against right now. This is where we were wicking down to previously, also finding it as a support line turned to resistance. This one here comes in at 12.3 before actually going down to the 382, which is 11.2 cent. So overall, there's 3 things kind of going on right where we are right now. So this is going to be a bit of a battle to work our way up to the upper side here. Now we are overbought on our daily chart. Again, this is nothing to worry about. We can be sustained up here for quite some time, as we indicated earlier when we were pushing through nicely here. And we're actually up here from the 26th of July all the way through until the 4th of August. So again, we're up there for a fair few days, and we can obviously keep this sustained for a period as well. And we take a look from the 25th of June again over to the 8th of July. So again, a couple of weeks or so just being in an overbought area. So again, we will be looking for that correction. It'll be a small kind of sideways trade or a pullback to a degree. but it doesn't appear to be coming around the corner anytime soon, at least according to this daily chart. But let's go check the hourly and then take a look at what's been going on. Last time we actually had a look at ANKR, we were really focusing in on this triangular wedge. We were saying that there was the potential here for a huge breakout to the upside, and we have seen that kind of come in. I was actually anticipating another test on the lower area before we had the breakout, but it happened sooner, and well, that's never a bad sign. So again, everything here on this hourly is not too bad either. We can obviously see that the resistance is really quite strong with the 12.3 cent area, but I do think that's going to be short-lived as we are oversold on our hourly. So a good push to the upside, I do feel, is just around the corner here as we continue this growth and this spike to the upside. Now, the main issue that we had with ANKR, with many of these altcoins, in fact, was Bitcoin had a bit of a pullback, bringing the rest of the space with it. So I'm not quite sure why everything almost instantaneously fell together. So there must have been some kind of bot trading going on there. But nonetheless, that was recovered very, very quickly. Within the hour, we pushed right on back up again and found the resistance line. So again, no real damage was actually caused here unless you were selling thinking we're dumping all the way down to 20k Bitcoin, for example. Nonetheless, we have found this resistance. I do think that's short-lived, and I think we are going to be pushing to the upside shortly. We'll check the volume here. We can see that there was a large amount of volume just dropped on the market to bring that candle down. And again, the volumes have completely dropped off a cliff here, allowing us now primed, ready to take that next step, where I do anticipate us moving up a little bit closer towards that 50% retracement zone on the Fibonacci retracement tool. So overall, the hourly is not too bad. When we go back up into our daily view, I do think that we'll be going after that 13.2 cent in the next little while here. Timing is usually the hard thing to kind of get. Now, I do want to kind of say that I think it's imminent. I think, within the next 24 hours or so, we should be up towards that kind of 13.2 cent area. But timing is usually the most difficult thing to get. Crypto space can be a little bit unpredictable, even though we can see some pretty decent indicators here, indicating that we are looking for a push to the upside. One thing I think we'll potentially go up to that 13.2 cent and then back test on our 12.3 resistance line right now, confirming it is support. That will then allow us to go after the 618. And this again is where the big battle really kicks off here for ANKR. Looking for that closed candle above the 786 is the big bull signal that takes us onto the price discovery. So lots of fantastic things on the horizon here. A little bit of work to happen immediately. And then the major piece of work just inside here, the 618, the 702, the 786, and then price discovery. So in the case of ANKR here, we obviously do have those interesting targets. The first target, the 1.618, comes in at 32.3 cent, followed by the 2.618 is 49 cent, the 3.618 comes in at 66 cent, and then the full 4.236 extension comes in at 77 cent. That, as I said before, on the weekly chart, this comes in at 524% from the current position. So some pretty good gains still on the table here for ANKR, and I do think this is going to be absolutely fantastic once it gets rolling. Like it did with previously during this run, it was a bit of a slow burner. It felt like it was doing nothing, but actually it was moving quite nicely to the upside. You just have to wait for those technicals to kind of align, and then it'll be off to the races without any issue. Guys, if we're ever in doubt, we do zoom out. We take a look at where things are going on the weekly. Make sure that we're aware that the short-term moves, they are short-term. And the bigger picture can be seen on that monthly view or the weekly view. So if you're ever in doubt, do zoom out and you'll be able to see what is going on a little bit clearer. Guys, if you have found this brief update on ANKR useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.